This case occurred back in July of 1991. Walter Hubbard, he owned a car lot on Route 1 near Azalea Avenue, and he often dealt with cash or handled his own financing. On this particular occasion, we believe that he was robbed and he was beaten severely inside the office of the car lot. His daughter was also present and she was beaten severely also. And both of them sustained very bad injuries from this beating.
This case bothered me more than any case that I worked during my 20 years as a violent crimes investigator. The business is Hubbard Auto Sales. Mr. Hubbard had worked previously at a local dealership and then opened his own dealership there on Brook Road. He managed the business, of course, and his daughter, Stephanie Cotner, worked with him in the business, helping with paperwork and so forth. Approximately 3 p.m. that afternoon was when police responded. The first uniform officers responded as a result of a 911 call. Both of them were beaten severely about the head. The object that we found that was used on them was a rather large metal wrench. It was pretty severe as far as the blows that each one of them received. I think Ms. Cotner received more blows because she ran from him, from the suspect, into that area where the bathroom was and so forth. And I think he chased her and beat her more there after he had assaulted her father. The wrench did belong to the business. We were able to identify it as one of the items that was used there as tools to make minor repairs on vehicles there. Earlier in the day, Mr. Hubbard was dealing with an individual to sell him a car, and eventually the individual did purchase a vehicle and give him a large amount of cash as part of the deal. At the same time, there was another individual on the lot that was looking at different vehicles. The information was that that individual also was interested in possibly purchasing a vehicle. The individual that provided us with the composite of the gentleman that was on the property, he left the lot with his vehicle, and he provided a large sum of money in cash to Mr. Hubbard. We found the receipt book. Mr. Hubbard's receipt copy was still in the book, and he had not had time to go to the bank to make a deposit of those funds, so he still had it on him. And we believe that's probably why he was under his underwear, that he had that money in his pants pocket. His pants were forced off of him so the individual could get the cash out of it. Mr. Hubbard was not going to give that money up willingly.
According to our witness who was at the car lot that morning with Mr. Hubbard and also this suspect, he had told the witness that he had just gotten out of prison for robbery, and also he had been involved in a fight like the day before, so he did have some minor injuries to his lip and to his eye, so that would be something that may stick out in someone's mind.
And this whole thing has just changed our family and everybody we knew, everybody that knew us. It just was really devastating to everybody. They said that they had been beaten. They didn't know whether Stephanie was going to live through the night. And they, had to put her into surgery because she was hit in the brain on this side. My husband was hit in the frontal lobe, which affected his short-term memory.
It was a horrible night, but they said that they were taking my little sister into brain surgery. They didn't expect her or the baby to live. She was 21, 6.5 months pregnant. But that was the longest, probably 4.5 hours of my entire life, was that surgery that she was in. A lot of anger. Will my sister still have breath in her body? She was 21. She was too young for that.
It was hours before we saw Stephanie. Had I not known it was her, I would not have known it was her. Her face was so swollen, you could not even really see where her nose and her eyes were. It was just one big, ball sitting there. They had shaved her head. She had like a, scar all the way around, looked like a baseball. Her little hands were just smashed where they said she had, thrown her hands up. Her wedding ring had been flattened almost on her hand where she had tried to deflect the blows.
When she went into labor, she didn't know what was going on. She had no clue about labor delivery.
I didn't really understand why I was in the hospital. You know, I thought I had to have a car wreck. Then the speed at MCV told me about it, and I just didn't understand. And then a couple days later, then I got upset because it sunk in. It just changed everything in my life. Yeah, I was married, pregnant with my first child. I was working, and somebody just scrapped that.
Somebody out there knows something, as in most crimes. Most people talk to others about their crimes. If you have any information that pertains to an individual who committed this heinous crime, we'd love for you to provide that information. If you know anyone that's been the victim of a crime, especially a serious crime, it is a help to the family members that remain behind that someone was held accountable for the crime that they committed.